Welcome to the PowerPoint 2010 video series. In this video, we are going to look at how to add additional security features to your presentation. Now, the reason we do this is we want to try and restrict, first of all, the editing of our presentation once it's complete. And secondly, we might even want to restrict the opening of our presentation. So you really need to first decide what level of restriction you would like for the various users that you are going to distribute your presentation to. Let's have a look at the different ways that we can do this. First, you need to make sure that your presentation is complete and finished. It's very difficult to send it out to a group of users and then have to edit it and resend it out again. So make sure that your presentation is 100% finished. Let's go to the File button at the top and left-hand side of the screen. And by default, it should go to the Info menu option. You'll notice a couple of boxes on the left-hand side. You should see one that says Protect Presentations. And at the moment, you'll see the permission is currently set that anyone can open, copy, and change any part of this presentation. If I click on the Protect Presentation button, the first form of security, and really the lowest, is to mark the presentation as final. This will let the readers know that it is final and it'll make it read-only. So if I select that option, it tells me the presentation will be marked as final and then saved. I click OK, and then I click OK. You will notice now the permission has changed for this particular presentation. It has been marked as final to discourage editing. Now if I close this presentation and reopen it, you will notice that at the top of the screen you won't get a menu bar, but instead you will see that this has been marked as final. However, because it's an entry-level security feature, we can choose to edit it anyway. So it just gives those users a heads up that you would prefer them not to edit the presentation. The second level of security is to go to the File button again, go back down to the Info tab, and on Protect Presentation, we can choose to encrypt the presentation with a password. So in this case, I'm going to put in a password to encrypt the presentation. Please note that if you forget this password, it cannot be recovered. It'll ask you to re-enter the password. Keep in mind that your passwords are case sensitive. Now a password is required to open this presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the presentation just to test my theory that it is now password protected. So I'm now going to open my presentation again, and it shouldn't allow anyone in without the password. So the reason we do this is if we would like a selected group of users who are allowed to edit the presentation to use the password access option. Another way, which is not very widely used but is available to you, is you can restrict your presentation to certain users only. If you go to the File, Info, and Protect Presentation, you can choose here to restrict the permission by people. And in order to do this, you would have to select the Restricted Access option. Now, I already have a Windows Live ID. If you don't have one, it will automatically prompt you to add a Windows Live ID, which is free, and it'll take you through the process of setting it up, and then you will land up at this screen over there. I can now add additional users that have also got Windows Live IDs and choose exactly who is and isn't allowed to view the presentation. And if somebody is on my list, it will automatically open for them. If they're not on my list of allocated users, they won't be allowed to view the presentation. And then the last thing you can do to protect your presentation is by adding a digital signature. Keep in mind that although digital signatures, we like to think of them as normal signatures, which are legally binding, Microsoft cannot warrant that a digital signature will be legally binding when it comes time to it. You can then choose to add your digital signature. And that is as easy as it is to protect and ensure that your presentation is protected when distributing.